Are the Jacksonville Jaguars a good team or a bad team? And that's not rhetorical. I'm asking you because I seriously don't know. They're 7-4, so good team, right? That's more wins than losses, and being in the playoff picture was a good thing last time I checked. But the journey is often more important than the destination, at least 11 games in. And these Jaguars look less like a winning football team and more like a cartoon baby that crawls through an active construction site but ends up on the other side unscathed. You, the adult, are left chasing after them, taking 2x4s to the face, looking like an idiot. Maybe the Jags are in that perfect middle ground. The best bad team or the worst good team? But which? I'm leaning towards best bad, just because I don't think a good team can be in such goofy games every week. At some point, you've just got to get serious, you know? Put on a tie, get a haircut, stop throwing interceptions when you have the lead. But from a comedy standpoint alone, Jacksonville is must-watch TV. They might just be the league's best-kept secret. Easy to ignore, but once you start watching, I promise you won't look away. Because very quickly you'll realize, like me, you aren't really rooting for or against them so much as you're rooting for something stupid to happen. And most of the time, it does. Just this past week, the Jaguars beat Arizona 27-24 on the back of a 4-turnover performance from their former number 1 overall pick and prince who was promised, Trevor Lawrence. This included 2 deja vu interceptions in the third and fourth quarters, with Jacksonville starting both drives up 17-14 and looking to put the game away. The Cardinals did eventually make them pay and went up 21-17, but the Jags awoke from their catnap to answer and kick a field goal in overtime. But these weird game scripts have been happening all year. Case in point, week 2 against the Bengals. This one will generally be remembered as the game Joe Burrow went down and Cincinnati's season was thrown into a tailspin. But if you're a member of the Jaguars, this is the one where Jake Browning threw 3 picks, including one with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, down by 4 points, and still beat you. He was just as surprised as you were.
I mean, we should be delusional. They got thrown 3 picks, and it was like somehow we still have a chance to win the game, and so...
That resilient performance quickly became a fluke. Browning would go on to throw 5 more interceptions and lose his next 3 starts. But that's what's so fun about these Jags. The stupid bullshit doesn't always work out in their favor. Take the 26-point fourth quarter comeback by the Davis Mills-led Houston Texans. After going up 29-10 at the end of the third, Jacksonville gained just 1 offensive yard on 3 drives that ended in 2 punts and a fumble. Meanwhile, Houston scored 3 straight touchdowns and tightened up a surprisingly competitive AFC South, if we ignore the Titans, which I think we're all already doing. Just think, had the Jaguars held on to that 19-point lead, they'd be tied with the Colts for the division. But it all comes back around for them. A 99-yard pick 6 on Patrick Mahomes gave them the lead in week 5, before they got down again and needed Lawrence to do an impression of a baby deer before stumbling his way into the end zone for the win. They'll get crushed by the Rams 35-7, confirming just how deeply unserious they are, only to come back a few weeks later and crush the Chargers 35-6. Through all the chaos, maybe it's unsurprising that they've won their games by an average of just 1.5 points. They hold a point differential of just 17 for a team that's won 3 more games than it's lost. They rank 20th in total offensive expected points added, but 8th in defensive, and it's the best defense they've fielded in the Trevor Lawrence era, and yet it's Trevor Lawrence that may end up holding Jacksonville back this year. Trevor Lawrence has entered a strange area of the quarterback timeline. Since drafting him first overall in 2021, the Jaguars are in one of the best positions they've ever been, from the defense to the run game to the sheer fact they've already racked up 7 wins. And yet, he's having one of the worst seasons of his career. His 11 picks are good for 3rd most in the league, and his 3% interception rate is the highest it's ever been. And a Trevor Lawrence interception is almost biblical in how it crushes both his believers and the good and unsuspecting people around him. 9 of those 11 interceptions have come with the Jags leading the game. To put that in perspective, Geno Smith has thrown just 5 of his 13 when leading, Flacco 2 of his 11, with Darnold 5 of his 10 and Tua just 1 of his 13. And while a couple of Lawrence's picks can be attributed to good defense, the majority shows a quarterback not seeing a second or third level defender while staring down their target. So far, he also holds both the highest time to throw and turnover-worthy play rate of his career. It's something that the Jags suddenly want to blame on how complicated new head coach Liam Cohen's offensive system is, that once Lawrence gets confident enough to just let it rip, all of these problems will go away. But I'm not so sure. I don't doubt that Cohen runs a sophisticated offense, but a chunk of Lawrence's interceptions and limitations seem to stem from his inaccuracy. Like this pick in the Davis Mills game wasn't because the play took more processing power than Lawrence was used to. It happened because he threw it where the defender had a chance to make a play on it. Watch any Jaguars game broadcast for long enough, and you'll hear a commentator mention that he just isn't that pinpoint passer you'd assume out of what so many called a can't-miss prospect. This year, he ranks 30th out of 45 qualifying quarterbacks in on-target pass percentage. And none of this is to say he doesn't make some really nice throws occasionally, and he himself has mentioned that he's never going to play scared, but that isn't mutually exclusive with playing smart. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see Lawrence passing less and less when Jacksonville has a lead as the season goes on. The sentiment around fans is that, yeah, Lawrence makes everything more complicated, but the Jags are 7-4, so let's shut our brains off and enjoy it. Completely fair sentiment. Never apologized for winning. But for me, a fan less of Jacksonville itself and more of this specific version of the team doing stupid things, I'm forecasting what's coming up down the line. T-Law will continue getting more expensive until Jacksonville is paying the, 16th best quarterback in the league a whopping $78.5 million in 2029. Lawrence has taken a step back this year while being coached by a quarterback whisperer. There's a very real chance that he'll continue to regress while taking up more of the team's resources. For a few short weeks of controlling their destiny as a 6th seed in 2025, they may quickly find themselves holding a very expensive bill. Beyond just their mid-quarterback, there are other concerns that keep this group from entering quote-unquote good team territory. Like how their 8th-ranked defense by EPA might be propped up by turnover luck from earlier in the season. They racked up 14 takeaways in the first 5 weeks, only to pick up 4 more in the next 7, but their 18 takeaways totals still rank 5th most in the league right now. While Josh Hines-Allen is one of the league's better pass rushers, this is still a group that allows the 16th most points and 17th most yards. They've often done enough to give their shaky offense a chance to win, sometimes multiple times per game, but they've also faced very few tests up to this point too. And then just one extra thing that makes Jacksonville a little extra chaotic. Their kicker Cam Little broke the record for longest field goal kick this year with a 68-yard bomb. Having a guy with this kind of leg makes it all the easier to come away with points each drive and keep things tighter, especially when the offense isn't moving the ball. To finish out the year, we should expect the Jaguars to get to 10 wins, which should get them a playoff spot. 2 games against the Tennessee Titans and 1 against the New York Jets should all but guarantee that. But 2 versus the Colts and 1 in Denver should serve as measuring sticks for just how good or bad this group actually is. While there is a chance we'll see them take that next step into contender status before season's end, I think we're more likely to see them continue bumbling their way through the construction site until they finally take that one wrong step and fall to their death in the wild card. Whether it was Liam Cohen's awkward introductory press conference,
Duval,
or how 18-year-old looking 34-year-old general manager James Gladstone insists on sounding like every guy from San Francisco who's vibe-coded an app.
this is something I'm uniquely positioned to navigate.
Jacksonville has been telling us from the start to not take them seriously. At this point, it's on you if you disregard all the evidence and believe they have a real shot at being the last team standing at the end of all of this. Snake oil salesmen are only as powerful as their audience's belief in them, and for me, that belief is all but gone. But that doesn't mean I won't keep watching them. The Jacksonville Jaguars are this year's best bad team. They've won enough already and have an easy remaining schedule to where their playoff berth is all but guaranteed. And the thing is, the Jaguars have a solid defense and just enough talent on offense to potentially wreak havoc on some results come January. But to trust them with anything beyond being one of the 14 teams left is a dangerous proposition. If there's one thing that's for sure though, it's that Jacksonville isn't squarely a good or bad team. No, there's something in between. And while any number of things can happen, you can always count on them playing a game completely unique from every other one going on around them. They go from frustratingly bad to strangely competent to heartbreaking to absolutely hilarious, usually all within the span of 5 minutes. And for that, the Jaguars should have your attention. So, Jacksonville, here's to being this year's best bad team in the NFL, a fate better and more exciting than most. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please remember to give it a like if you did enjoy it and consider subscribing to the channel so you can catch the next one. Thanks, bye.